Okay, so there was some big other news on Saturday beyond the wedding. Apparently, there was some racing happening. They didn't cancel the entire racing schedule just for me.
They pretty much did in the States, just not in Canada.
Right. I thought I had that kind of pull in this industry. I guess I got to work harder. But no, the big day was Saturday at Woodbine. I know John is a big fan of this card with the Natalma in the summer and the Woodbine Mile, and you guys had some good results that we'll get to in a second. Just want to go over some of the winners. One of the things I liked, and I didn't really dig into the races too much, but it was mostly local guys, Mark Casse and Kevin Attard winning these races, and Robert Tiller won in the Vigil Stakes. Patches O'Houlihan. So I like that. I like because a lot of times you see these European barns raid in and just take all the candy. There was one European winner for Andrew Balding, the Summer Stakes winner, New Century. But yeah, it was really the home team that really put the numbers on the board on Saturday. John, what stuck out to you about Woodbine Mile Day?
Well, DJ Stable had a day, Joe. I mean, it wasn't quite being married, but it was definitely a big day. Our homebred Nitrogen, who was still a maiden, ran third in the Grade 1 and almost stole it from Gate the Wire. She was passed at the very end by Mark Casse entry mates and One More Time, who's a $750,000 Fasig-Tipton grad. Omaha Beach daughter, who won the Natalma, and then we ran second with Vixen, who was a Vacoma, and we were very happy to finish second and third. Have two fillies that are both Grade 1 place now, and then Joe, we had Dream On, finished third in the Summer Stake, which is also a Grade 1, and he punched his ticket to run hopefully in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. So we may have those three horses, plus a week from Saturday, we will have Shifty run in the Miss Grillo. And we'll see how that comes out. But right now we have three horses that have points to get into their respective turf juvenile division races. And Johnny V is going to ride Dream On in the Breeders' Cup Turf, and he's committed to stay on Vixen for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly. So nothing wrong with having a Hall of Fame trainer and having a Hall of Fame jockey piloting your horses in the first weekend of November.
And there's nothing wrong with you completely talking about yourself when I ask you what stuck out to you about Woodbine Mile today.
I just wanted to sing. That's all. I mean, that was okay. If we haven't lost you by now, then you are a hardcore fan.
I mean, you also, if you're a hardcore fan, you know the fucking deal on this show.
But yeah, no, I think there were a couple other Grade 1 races, going on in Canada, but I can't attest to them. I'm sorry.
Okay, so that's the last time I ask you to carry me on the racing results for the weekend. But another couple of things I just wanted to mention. Jonathan's Way was pretty impressive in the Iroquois. I thought he was the best 2-year-old I saw at Saratoga all summer, and he did it again, stretched out. The freaking Vacomas just runners left and right. And the other thing, just jumping back to Woodbine for a second, I'm sensing like a little bit of a pattern, and maybe this will be completely proven wrong in the next month or two as we go closer to the Breeders' Cup. I don't feel like these Charlie Appleby horses are running out of their skin the way they used to. Right. Like, he used to ship in for that card and just win everything. He would win everything at Saratoga. He had some horses that bombed at short prices at Saratoga all summer. He's obviously still a top-notch trainer in Europe, but there was a time, and it wasn't that long ago, I would say like 4 or 5 months ago, where he was just an auto include every single time, no matter who the horse was, no matter how hopeless, relatively speaking, they looked on paper. And it just seems like the kryptonite has kind of set in a little bit on the Charlie Appleby operation, where I don't know if he's not sending the right horses now. And he obviously is still dangerous if he's got the right horse. But that's just something I noticed the last couple of months, that his horses are still getting bet like they're unbeatable, and they have become increasingly beatable.
I think, Joe, it comes down to the statistics. I mean, my grandfather used to always say to me, look at the back of the baseball card, and eventually things will kind of settle out there. Like Mark Casse having a great summer, and I don't wish this on him, but he's winning at a 20% clip. But he's a career 16, 17% trainer. So he's going to run into a lull. I think that's kind of happening now. We expected Appleby to win at like a 50% clip, like what he was doing, the past couple of years. And now he's bringing over horses, and they're running, but they're not running at the 3 to 5 mark like they should be. He did finish second in the colt race with a horse named Al Quadra. So he did actually hit the board. But yeah, I would agree with the sentiment that like his horses are starting to come back to the pack now. And that's a big ask also, to have horses go from Europe, come to North America. There's a quarantine, period. They miss some training days. I know I get jet lagged, and when we make a 4 or 6 hour plane ride. So I would imagine these horses would also, new surroundings, new environment. So I kind of give them a pass, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised though if when they run out in California, they start running back to form and out of their skin. But yeah, they don't deserve to be the 3 to 5s just based on their past history or the former horses that he had training, because they're literally not the same horses.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you said, it's like reversion to the mean a little bit, but it's a good point that you make about the jet lag, because he was kind of groundbreaking in that he ships horses in to go after all sorts of American turf races. It used to be the European trainers, they would come in for the Breeders' Cup, maybe one other race, maybe like the Arlington Million, something like that. And in the case of the Breeders' Cup, they ship them in. They have like a couple of weeks to acclimate and train and like then be able to fire their best shot in the Breeders' Cup. That's what was like so shocking to me about how well his horses were running. Like he would ship them in like a week before like the Fort Marcy or some shit like that, and they would go win off by like 8 lengths. And it was like, how is this happening?
Yep.
And yeah, far be it from me to like question how it's kind of fallen off a little bit. But yeah, like he was one of the first to kind of start rating for those other non-Breeders' Cup races. And I would like to see more of it, honestly. I see more of the Europeans coming in for a Kentucky Downs and the Saratoga Derby and the Belmont Derby and stuff like that. We need new blood in this, in this business with the 5 and 6 horse fields that we see in America. Any European trainers want to come take our cookies? Well, you're free to do it. Charlie Appleby doesn't need to be the only one.
I don't want Europeans coming in and taking my cookies. I like eating my cookies very much. I don't need other people to come in. I mean, from a dietary standpoint, yeah, I get it.
Yes,
they shouldn't.
Only an even number of cookies, right?
Even numbered. You remember that? Yes, that is a weird OCD issue that I have. That I can only eat an even number of M&Ms, string beans, pieces of popcorn. Like that's what actually goes through my head as I'm eating. Was that an even number or an odd number? Even number, odd number. Like that's yes. It's exhausting.
A horrifying trip into the mind of Johnny Green.